guess first off, talk about today's camp.
It was good. This is the first of 2 practices today. It's practice number 9, so it's to that point where their legs they've hit a wall. So now we've got to learn, we've got to figure out how to build them back up and get them to peak performance before the first game. But this was, predominantly special teams and the details of special teams and the details it's going to take for us to win the games. We'll give them a break, have some meetings, do some recovery with some ice and stuff during the day, and then we'll get them back here tonight for more of a traditional football practice where it won't be any special teams. It'll be offense, defense, and situational football.
You just stressed it right there. You were stressing the details throughout all of practice. Were the details not to your standard, or can they get? Is there stuff to be improved on?
I think the coaches being a new staff, I think that we've come a long way from where we were. But I think them understanding how detailed our details are. It's from Coach Foreman coaching our kickoff, our Mayday field goal, how to run on the field, and our offense to run off the field so that we don't collide. It's little things like that. Snap counts, offensively when you are killing the ball, when you can kill the ball on 3rd down, when you have, when it's 4th down, you can't kill the ball. When you can kill it, but there's 2 seconds left, you have to run a play, or if there's 3 seconds, you can kill it. I think all those different things are things that we're focusing on because we know that we may not be the most talented team all the time. And if you're not the most talented team, you got to win with details and mental toughness. So I think we made good strides. It wasn't where we needed to be, but it's definitely not bad.
With the special teams work, I saw some players that were in a little bit different positions, some different skills than they've had to do, definitely taking them out of their comfort zone.
Definitely. And, a lot of our special teams right now, this first week to 10 days, is we're trying to figure out who, one, has the desire and toughness to play on our special teams, because the plan to win states dominate special teams. So if you want to dominate special teams, you have dominant players, and dominant players are usually your starters, and they've got to understand they play a huge role in that. And so we put them in situations, so who's going to jump out there and who's going to be tough enough to compete in every drill that we do. And, there's about 20 to 25 kids right now that are really standing out, and we feel like we can be a really, really dominant special teams unit because of the depth and the talent we have out there.
With your plan to win and dominating special teams, it looked like there's a lot of so-called starters out there working with the first special teams unit. Is that something you're going to do, is have guys who start on offense and defense be a starter on a special teams unit?
If you're not, unless you're a quarterback or offensive line, if you're not starting on one special teams, you're not starting on offense. Special teams is the most important, 3rd phase of the game. That's how you're going to lose most of your games if you don't put the attention to detail into special teams. So, I think Nick Saban really laid it out there and laid the blueprint out there. And when he's won those national championships, his Heisman Trophy tailbacks are on the kickoff team, and his starters are on the punt team. And Ohio State, Urban Meyer, does the same thing, and we're going to follow that same blueprint. And hopefully that allows us, again, plan to win, to dominate the special teams.
The schedule's ramped up a little bit more with more practices. How are the players adjusting to it?
They're doing a great job. We talk to them all the time about practice is everything for us. So what does that mean? That means that they've got to drink water, hydrate, have their milk jugs with them full of water. They've got to make sure that they're getting in the ice, they're stretching, they're getting 3 treatments a day. Their body is their instrument. Their body has got to be taken care of, and getting a lot of rest and get a lot of, make sure that they have enough energy and they're fit. Their body's fit enough to have great practices. Because again, if we can't practice, then we're not going to be very good. So we got to get them healthy and see what happens.
Are you going to keep up the physicality of practice as it's been the past couple of days throughout the remainder of camp, or is there going to be a little back off at one point, closer to game week, or just what's your philosophy and getting closer to Wofford?
We'll start to tail off a little bit when we get within about 10 days of Wofford to start out, or from here to the first 2 scrimmages, though, we're going to keep ramping up the physicality. If we're going to talk about being the toughest, we got to practice like the toughest. Our kids have got to fight through bumps and bruises. Understand everyone's hurt right now. They have to be great at fighting through the adversity and understanding that pain's only temporary. And I think that the tougher and the tougher conditions we can make them go through, the easier the games are going to be. But of course, when we get closer to game week, we'll have to tail off a little bit.
Do you think practicing out here in the heat of the day, approaching 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, it getting hot, that's making them just a lot more mentally and physically tough as they continue to go through camp and the temperatures are rising?
Definitely. Last week we practiced and had about 20 plays, and the turf was 118 degrees. And I told them, I apologized to them because I didn't realize it, but that's just another testament to our team, how tough they are trying to be. None of them complained about the weather. None of them complained about the heat. They're out there in 118 degrees and they're fighting. And I think that says a lot about the mentality and the psyche of our team. And I'm proud of how tough they've gotten just from January to now.
And it proves that the toughness is not just physical but also mental.
Mental, and as you know, Thomas, everything that we're physically tough, but the mental toughness is where programs like us and teams like us that we're just getting started, we may not be the most talented teams every Saturday, but we can be the mentally toughest teams. And if you are mentally tougher than your opponent, you're going to win those games, and that's what we're going to get to.